This leader is provided to permit the projectionist to complete adjustment of focus and sound level before the film begins.
Tonight's program has been brought to you by...
What is the establishment? Who is the establishment? Why is the establishment? The establishment, as the name suggests, is people and institutions who have established positions of power, influence, and authority for themselves. These are usually the richest people in a society, but some of them aren't that rich, but they're valuable instead. So establishment usually means a lot of very, very wealthy people, but also some very popular politicians or some very influential thinkers, people that can exert influence over other people. In the United States of America, for example, the Koch brothers are part of the establishment because they're super rich. They're so rich, they could buy whatever they want, right? But also, Barack Obama is part of the establishment. He's not as rich as a lot of these people, but he is very, very popular. So if these people want to sway public opinion, one of the people they could go to and say, hey, could you do us a speech, is Barack Obama. One of the ways the establishment controls politics is lobbying. Lobbying is when you hire these professional negotiators called lobbyists, and they go and talk to already elected politicians. And you might give them donations, or you might do them a favor. Some kind of transaction goes through, and in exchange for that, that politician makes sure something happens that benefits you. The establishment sometimes doesn't do that. Instead, it tries to elect someone who is already in their pocket, as they say. So they have to influence democracy. Now, in order to do that, they need something called hegemony. According to Merriam-Webster, hegemony is preponderant influence or authority over others. This influence can be social, cultural, ideological, economical, or else. Now, the American establishment has excellent hegemony over its own people. You could, for example, look at Obama. Obama came on after the Bush administration. So people were fed up with conservatism, with Republican politics, with the Iraq War, so on and so forth, right? And so this was the first African-American president in American history, and he was a progressive person, or so it seemed, and he promised to do a lot of progressive stuff, and his main message was hope and change, right? But he ended up bailing out Wall Street, bailing out the banks. What else did he do? Who cares? On an interview, he says,
the truth of the matter is that my policies are so mainstream that, you know, if I had said the same policies that I have back in the 1980s,
I'd be considered a moderate Republican.
In any case, people think they're getting what they want, but they're not getting what they want. That's how hegemony works. Cultural, ideological, and social hegemony is so fucking awful. It's like, instead of them taking your money by force, they're taking your money by mind control. I found an article on Force from November 2018 that said, hey, Twitter shares have gone up 15.5% since Donald Trump became president. Same thing is going on with places like CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post. They hate Trump. We don't know if they honestly do or if they're just acting like it. But anyways, they do. But Trump is good for their business, The Trump train or the anti-Trump train sells, right? So on the one hand, you have conservatives who are happy to turn on Fox News to see what Trump's doing. And on the other hand, you have liberals and Democrats, progressives, who turn on the television to see what the fuck Trump did today. So it sells. Long story short, the establishment always gets bigger and better. They have so much money and influence that it's pretty much impossible for them to lose any of it until a certain person becomes candidate. Now, Bernie is the first pretty much American presidential candidate. He's not a candidate yet. We'll see if they even let him be a candidate. But if he does become the candidate, he's the first candidate who's going to go to the ruling class or the aristocracy, or the plutocracy, or the oligarchy, or the donor class, whatever the hell you want to call it. Rich dudes. He's going to go to rich dudes and say, hey,
I am once again asking for your financial
support.
he seems pretty damn serious about it. Now, I'm acutely aware that this could also be hegemony. This could also be an act. But that seems highly unlikely given what's going on. You know, mainstream American media is taking shit after shit after shit on Bernie Sanders. They don't want him to win. And I found this article on opensecrets.org, and their data came from the Center for Responsive Politics. Joe Biden has received over $97,000 in donations from healthcare companies. Now, of course, $97,000 is like 1% of his campaign money. He has received much more from so many other things, but still, $97,000. Trailing him by just a little bit was Pete Buttigieg. He received about $94,000 from healthcare companies. You know how much Bernie has received from healthcare companies? Zero. Fucking nothing. So if it's an act, it is one fucking elaborate act. If Bernie is real, then things become really interesting. If Bernie is for real, and if he gets elected for real, you're going to see a lot of Marxists love that phrase, wealth redistribution. Wealth redistribution is when the government uses force and goes to rich people and says, hey,
In some of the largest cities in America, 50% of the kids are not graduating high school. The cost of college education in this country is zooming up, so you have to be a wealthy person to send your kid to college. There was once a dream that my parents had and many people's parents had, that if you work hard and go to school, you can get a college education.